And welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. All of this is brought to you by Love You Hard TV. And once again, I got the bums in the house. AJ Adam, thanks for joining me this afternoon. And yes, AJ, he's holding up the belt because we are the bracket champs over in the building. Let's go. Let's
10-point win is a win. We'll take it.
What do you mean the bracket champs over in the building? Are you saying in a separate bracket?
No, we did a bracket challenge, Baseline Bums versus In the Building, and we beat In the Building. Let's go, baby.
First off, I want to say thank y'all for having me back. It's been too long since I've been on the pod, so excited to be joined with the Bums again. And, for a second, I thought you were talking about the bracket that AJ fucking just had in his hands. The championship was going to beat you by 10 points, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah, that definitely was a rough one. I mean, I would say that the game itself was a lot of fun to watch. We got to talk a little bit about the foul discrepancy on some of these games we've had, because I think there's a narrative of the SEC I want to dive into a little bit.
Really? A little bit of a narrative, you say? Yeah, we absolutely will dive into that. But I think first and foremost, man, we gotta get into that game last night.
Yeah,
we saw a really exciting yet pretty sloppy NCAA championship. Obviously, Florida, Houston. This came down to an absolute white knuckler. And I don't think a lot of us went into the tournament really wanting to take Florida seriously, but yet they come out on top. Todd Golden literally hadn't won one NCAA tournament game, and then now he's an NCAA champion. So it's crazy how that can happen. What were some of the takeaways that you were seeing last night, AJ?
Dude, Walter Clayton Jr. is the guy, man. He was absolutely. He was such a no-show in the first half. And whenever you go through a championship game like that, you need a guy that's going to will you to victory. And every game just continue to will him to victory. And every time he shows up in the second half, you're like, but he didn't do anything in the first half. That's what he did against Texas. That's what he did against Auburn. And that's what he did last night. And shout out to him. I hope he gets drafted. He's probably going to go in the late round, but he's a guy you want on your team that just is going to put his whole heart and soul to every game, and that guy is a monster. So I hope he does well in the NBA. He deserves it.
What a great success story for him, right? Goes 3 for 10 last night, but hits a really, really big three with 3 minutes left in the game. This is a 0-star recruit coming out of high school, right? And it goes to show you what can happen with the right drive and determination. But overall, this game was just interesting to me. Houston barely turns the ball over all game. I think that they have 9 total turnovers on the game, but 3 of them were within the last minute and 20 seconds, and that's whenever it really was most important. But one thing that I just took away from watching this game, Rob used the word sloppy, which it was. Overall, there were a lot of rush shots, a lot of forced threes, bad looks, but just the effort on both sides was insane, like it should be in this game. And you can't help but think Houston just gave it away. They were leading from the 15-minute mark in the first half. They didn't give away the lead until under a minute. So to have a lead for that long and to not be able to come away with it, it's devastating.
Right. It is the first championship winner to win in 60 years to not have a 2-point possession lead at all throughout the game, which is absolutely crazy to show that they were just barely hanging on and ended up scraping by enough to get that W. But yeah, it was so interesting because those are kind of the games that Houston wins, where it's kind of like you're punching each other in the mouth and it's a brawl, and then it's like, who's going to end up on top of that fight? And that's usually Houston. So when Houston gets out Houstoned, that's really crazy.
Well, in the first half, they're letting them play that kind of ball. And then the second half, I'm not sure what really happened there, but I would say the refs might have controlled the tempo a little too much, in my opinion. They called, 13 of their 19 fouls in the final 14 minutes of the game? That's insane. Like, that's that means you're playing one way, and then all of a sudden you got to change everything. So I think there's a narrative going on in the SEC, and I just don't believe it. And I think just the contract they have with ESPN, you gotta talk about it. So shout out to them, I guess.
I mean, there was certainly a discrepancy in the free throw margin, and I think you could boil it down to that. Not only did Florida shoot more attempts, but they shot a higher percentage from the line. But I think this game's about more than just that. This is an underwritten stat, but Houston only had 5 assists the entire game. This is their lowest assist total of the entire season. I think they had 16, 20, like 10 in 3 of their prior games. They weren't moving the ball. Florida dominated the assist numbers. There was only 6 fast break points the whole game. So, like, you look at a team like Houston that can run all day. I think there was like a video going around social media that every player in their team ran a mile in like sub 5:30. Like, this is a conditioned ball club, and we know all about running miles in a conditioned team, Rob, way, way back then. And that's what I thought Houston was, and they gave it away in the end.
Yeah, that's very true. And to hear Kelvin Sampson in the press conference after the game, when somebody asked him about the 5 assists, and he was like, "Well, you need to hit shots in order for people to get assists." And it was like such just a blatant reminder that, hey, yeah, that assist total is that way because we were missing bunnies in the paint. Like Juwan Roberts wasn't hitting those little hook shots. I mean, they're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, and you would not have known it last night.
Yeah, they shot 6 for 25, right? They shot under 25% from 3, and you're not going to win too many ball games like that. It's crazy if you just look at the total statistics for the teams in general. Both shot in the 30s. It wasn't a pretty game, but it was a battle between 2 dominant teams that I don't think that they had each played a better team all season, and that's how it's supposed to be in March Madness.
Yeah,
It was, it was a dogfight, man, and that's what I think. What we missed, kind of, and I think a lot of people were able to connect. Like our generation, the new generation, they can look back at this game and go, "Well, they didn't shoot a whole bunch of threes, and it was just scrappy the whole time. The refs were calling fouls, and there was a lot of ups and downs." And so I like the style of ball, and I know it's not really the fad right now. So hopefully, this is kind of a reminder that, hey, defense is fun to watch too, but it's going to be a little sloppy, but it's the most exciting ball in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it is. And like, it's got to be a mixture of both, because we talk about Houston like they're a really powerhouse defensive team, and they are, but they were consistently a top 10 efficiency offense as well. So they were just a great team all around. So when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, it's no wonder that they're going to be there. But yeah, it really turned into Florida being known for offense all tournament long. Walter Clayton Jr. dropping 30 pieces, and then it turns out their defense saves them at the end. It's their defense that really puts a punctuation mark on the championship game. I just think it was a really, really interesting game all around, and an exciting one at that.
Unfortunately for Houston fans, that pain does not go away. As someone who went to 2019 and lost in the finals, that pain never goes away, man. Watching that, I was like, I know how that feels, and it's going to be hard for a while for those fans. So,
boys, you know what also never goes away?
I don't want to hear
the banner that Baylor hung up there a couple of years after y'all failed against Virginia. So it made us going home in the second round this year tolerable. I'll tell you that much right now.
I guess.
But to your point, Rob, about Houston being like this powerhouse of a team now, they're reloading. They've got one of the top recruiting classes coming in next year. Chris Sinax, who's the number 7 player in the country. I think he came out of Link Academy. We were heavily recruiting him. They also have Brennan starting point guard, San Antonio Brennan, an absolute beast of a player that I can't say his name right now for whatever reason, but they're loading up. They've got 3 big-time players. They already got a transfer, which is actually something that I wanted to ask y'all, because, as I'm watching this game last night, it's on the cusp of one of our best players entering the transfer portal, and Rob Wright. I'm texting Wiz, and he says Darian Williams from Tech entered the transfer portal. is there any way they can just suspend transfer portal activity until March Madness is over? Because in my mind, like the game was in a way like it just reminded me of the state of college basketball and the transfer portal. And I was in this March bubble of just loving the effort of college basketball and these young athletes. And then I'm just reminded in the middle of watching, I was like, oh yeah, like our entire team's gone next year. And it just feels
that's what I tweeted right after the game. I said, and transfer portal, transfer portal, transfer portal. I mean, it just that what we're going to see here in the next week is all these kids who are seniors going to be going into the portal, and that's just them cashing in. So it sucks. It is what it is. We have, probably over 1,000 players at this point too. And I mean, that's just the way it is. And we'll see kind of if there's any kind of parameters. I know that new thing came out where they're trying to put a cap on NIL. I think I saw that.
Well, they're gonna I guess they're gonna have like like not a salary cap system, but they're gonna have more of like a structure to contracts. So like actually, I think a goal of like tying these player into long-term deals at universities. That way, they're not trying to test their market value after every year. But like, you can't even blame these guys. It's like they go to a school, they have a crazy freshman year. I'll use Rob Wright as an example, just because I follow Baylor basketball so closely. They have this crazy year, right? And their market value all of a sudden goes up. And unless they threaten to at least enter the portal, they don't know what their value is, right? So it's like capitalism 101. Oh, let me enter the portal, at least see what my value is. You have all these guys, these coaches, recruiters certainly tampering and being like, hey, look, you come to us, we'll give you X amount. I mean, we were paying Rob Wright over a seven figure contract. And apparently another program calls him or texts him out of the blue and says, we can offer you double. So not to go on a tangent of Baylor basketball, but it's like college sports in the state of the game. It just tainted what was such a beautiful moment last night, I felt like, for me.
Yeah, I mean, you would want them to at least wait until most of the teams are done playing, because we were hearing news about not only the transfer portal, but the coaching carousel as well. Yeah. We were hearing coaches leaving, getting hired at different programs, and it's like, wait a minute, we still got like 16 teams playing. We still got 32 teams left, and we were hearing news about that. So yeah, I absolutely agree. It should be pushed. We should at least wait until all teams are done playing before we can start talking about transfer portal stuff, because yeah, it takes away from the March Madness and it adds to the madness in a not fun way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. And like, is it not a disadvantage to the organizations, the teams, the schools that are still in March Madness that are clearly not going to have guys coming or going at that point, right? Like, I feel like it's a disadvantage for the teams that are making it further in the bracket. Other coaches are getting scooped up. Players are getting negotiated with quicker. I'm sure they're still negotiating like as they're competing, but still it's just kind of.
Oh, their agents are the one doing the negotiations. Like the agents are playing this pivotal role at all times, which is why you see all these players in the portal and the agents are the ones speaking for them. Texas Tech just got announced today that Chris Anderson's coming back. So pretty excited about that.
That's big.
So that's
for y'all.
Good to get for us. We probably paid him a bunch of money, so that makes me happy. Or, I mean, I would love to see him and his brother, because his brother is also a stud too. So that would be pretty fun to watch. But yeah, man, it sucks. But what doesn't suck is talking to people on the street. I'll tell you that. I thoroughly enjoyed.
You look like you're having a ball,
time, man.
Yeah, you
Dude,
look like you're having fun.
I'm sunburned right now, like because of it. I had so much fun talking to people. We made some pretty cool friends and just had a really good time. But the city was buzzing. I mean, it was a lot of stuff going on. You had concerts. You had the Valero Texas Open. You had stuff going on at the Majestic. I mean, San Antonio was a place to be. And the people we talked to, they were saying, I'm going to come back with my wife. I want to come back with my family. And so I think San Antonio really put on a good show for everyone. So congratulations, San Antonio.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everywhere we went, people were really enjoying the Riverwalk. They had drinks in their hands. They were eating food. They were talking about how much they loved the place. And it just so happened that the vast majority of that weekend there was great weather. There was
a lot.
There was a little bit of rain at first, but then beautiful weather. You could be outside, you could just wander around, enjoy the festivities, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. There was a little bit of shit talking, but it wasn't a lot of shit talking. It was good. It was playful, but then again, we didn't see the aftermath of a lot of these games, so
Right.
Would you
maybe
say
it got
there-
a little violent.
Would you say there was a fan base that y'all spoke to down there that was the most vocal or aggressive?
Duke.
So
Really?
Duke was
Just
Dude,
like
so
that.
here's how we broke down a great question. This is how we broke down the people we talked to. So Auburn people showed out. They were everywhere. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing an Auburn shirt. Like, it was insane how many people were there. Houston people showed up late. They were not there during the day. I think they showed up to the game or right before the game, and they're going to go stay with their cousin that lives in San Antonio. So I think that's how it went for Houston. And then, we saw some good Gators, the nicest people you can never meet in your entire life. Everyone was super cool. Shout out to Ron. I hope Ron started following us. That dude, sorry about your parade, man. I thought it was going to come this way and it went the other way. So that's on me. So sorry about that. Hope you got to hear them at some point. But Duke fans were wild, man, because they also talked the most shit because they could at the time. And then Cooper Flagg got punched in the mouth a little bit, and we saw what happened. So that was a lot of fun, though.
They weren't being like complete assholes, but just the Duke fans were cocky and just feeling themselves.
Yeah.
So they were just being very representative of their players.
Right. Yeah. They were really feeling themselves, acting like they had it on lock. Every single Duke fan was like, yeah, we're not really worried about this weekend. Cooper Flagg is better than Wemby. Cooper Flagg is, and we're like, oh my gosh. And
yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not only Duke fans that are claiming that they might rather have Cooper Flagg over Wemby, but one of our own, AJ, even said that they would take Cooper Flagg over Wemby. Did they not?
Rudy J had that wild remark, and we talked about this on their show, and I think if you want to go listen to that was a fun debate. Rob got to do one of these on camera, and you got to watch that to understand it. But it was definitely a fun question we asked a lot of people, and you can watch that on our page too. The full thing. Rob put it up today. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. You can kind of see how the questions and the interviews got a little more fun as the day progressed. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We might have been having a couple beers.
I was going to ask earlier, but I didn't want to insult you, AJ, but I have been in your presence enough time to know when you've been drinking, and I had assumed you had a couple.
It was fun. I had to let my guard down and just kind of go out there and kick down the door with some of these people.
What were we drinking, boys? What was on the drinking menu, by the way?
Oh, you could definitely feel those beers you were drinking when you talked to those UT fans. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone, go check out that video. It's on the YouTube. It's about 35 minutes long. It's really, really dope. We got a lot of really great interviews, a lot of fun stuff. I added some narration. We got some B-roll in there. We made it fun. So yeah, it's super dope. Go check it out. Yeah. But yeah, that the whole weekend was really fun, and it was capped off by a really, really great game. So much emotion, so much fun stuff. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think San Antonio did exactly what it needed to do in order to make something like that happen again in the future. So yeah, success.
I'm almost even thinking with our new, remind me of what the name of our potential new stadium in that area would be.
Project Marvel,
the initiative. Just think about how much heightened the experience could be for, tourists if we have that in the future too. But
and then all-star games and more NCAA championships. Maybe we'll try to throw our name into the Super Bowl conversation. Probably not, but anyone could hope.
Yeah. But it goes to show you, it doesn't matter where we are. San Antonians are some of the nicest people. You can go anywhere. There's a reason we're a military city. We're a family city. Y'all left both of us and live in other cities now, but I think y'all even know the San Antonians are the nicest out there. So
that was the best part. That was the best part, just being in the city and seeing other people love the city. I think that was probably one of the funnest things we could have done. And yeah, I would love to do it again, and you're going to see us probably out and about. We're trying to figure out our next man on the street. So if you want more fun content, feed me beers when you see me with a microphone.
Oh yeah. Well, we are going to be at the barbecue cook-off.
Yes, for
that's next month.
Yes,
That's
next month. So
that's
we'll be
next
there.
month. We'll be out there. Yep. Any other business about in regards to the NCAA championship, fellas? I did have something else I wanted to mention real quick.
Please do.
Concert.
Please do.
I was gonna mention Wembanyama hanging out with Hakeem. I loved it. I loved seeing them together. Honestly, Wemby's new haircut is pretty dope as well. But at the same time, I love that he's wanting to surround himself with those kind of players, with that kind of greatness. That's the kind of guy who you're sitting next to, and he can break you off a piece of wisdom, and you can keep that piece of wisdom throughout your whole career. So I love that even when he's going to a game and just watching some basketball, he's wanting to surround himself with that kind of presence. So I think,
Well,
dang it. I love Wemby.
You love Hakeem too. And a few years back, Hakeem was doing like individual training sessions with players. Was this by chance that they got to sit together, or did they like show up together? Because that would really excite me. Because I think all year when watching the Spurs, we've talked about how we wish Wemby played closer to the basket. I don't know who you could learn from better than playing closer to the basket and with your back to the basket than Hakeem Olajuwon. So more of that. I want to see them together a lot more. Yeah.
Maybe they exchanged phone numbers, and he's like, text me when you get bored. We'll hoop together. We'll come out to San Antonio, or we'll go to France, have a good time, eat some crepes. So yeah, I love to see it too. It looked like they're having a good conversation. And just sorry for Hakeem Olajuwon's heart, though. I'm sure he was very broken afterwards. So,
yeah, dude. Yeah, honestly,
dude, I bet that Buc-ee's on I-10 was like so depressing.
Dude, honestly, the emotion was real heavy after the game. Like the Juwan Roberts press conference when he was crying and saying, dude, like I wanted to win it for Coach Sampson, and he's like, I'm torn that I can't come back and try again next year. And it was like, dude, those are the kind of moments that you literally tune in to March Madness for. Yeah. That's the emotion right there, and it's it's sad, but it's real.
Yeah.
There was also the clip of like Uzon walking down the tunnel after, and there was some reporter that was coming up to him and like tugging on his shirt. And I'm like, did she know him, or like, was this just her trying to get an interview? Because the lady next to him was like, leave him alone. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this dude just went through one of the hardest things in his life, and you're like tugging on the back of his jersey for an interview. Like, get fucked.
I need to ask you 3 questions. It's like, dude,
get out
seriously.
Here.
I don't care what kind of contract or like whatever NIL contract that like obligates these players to certain media appearances, because I know that there is a certain level of media appearances, but like, dude, read the fucking room. And if you have to put your hands on somebody to go get that interview, it's probably not worth it.
Probably not.
Like, we're lucky it like wasn't a guy and that he didn't react in like an aggressive manner, because I don't know, like I mean, you either have a really angry emotion after you lose a big game, mainly just like a sad emotion that you just don't want to be talked to. If you're Rob after our state game, a mixture of both. But
bro, tug on my jersey after a game, and I'm gonna backhand you, and you're gonna be on the other team's tunnel.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing I'd say for the game is like shout out to Will Richard in a game that there was just poor shooting all around. He hits 4 threes, like pretty much put the team on his back in terms of these big shots until Clayton hit that shot late. So just shout out to him, and just shout out to overall like a good March Madness, really. I know that some people say that there wasn't much parity. You didn't have a lot of upsets, but you saw the best teams in the country win like they're supposed to. And you saw the highest level of basketball that you can physically see in college basketball. So just
and the highest paid in all of college basketball as well.
Let me ask y'all a question on a side note. Like, as Texas Tech alumni and fans, like, y'all had a connection to both of these teams, right? You beat Houston during conference play on the road without your head coach and best player, and you were beating Florida the entire game like, I know y'all are probably rooting for Houston because of your bracket, but
We technically won the national championship. That's how we're looking at it.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I think that
y'all are back.
we're a team that, you know, we're not like at the very, very top tier, but we can beat those teams. We hang with those teams easily. And I think that we're knocking on the door of those teams. We're one or two guys away from really being able to be a Duke every year, to go out there and be someone like that. So I think that, you know, it's pretty exciting for Red Raider basketball, but at the same time, it breaks your heart knowing that, you know, we're maybe a couple of plays away from what I feel like would have been a championship appearance.
And playing Houston would have been the best thing to possibly happen, because every time Tech played Houston, someone was hurt or our best player got ejected with our coach. And I mean, there was always these storylines that went with it. And this championship, if Tech would have won, that would have been the storyline, is like, oh, now they have this matchup. They rested the players in the Big 12 championship, and now they have this. So, like, this is what we're going to see, just two powerhouse Big 12 conference teams going at it. And I'm still – I know the SEC won the national championship, but in my opinion, I think the Big 12 is a much better basketball conference than the SEC.
I mean, they're both good. The SEC had a really, really good year, so I don't want to take anything away from them. But
take it all.
Yeah, geez, salty big time versus them. But no, preps to Tech for a big year. Like, obviously, Grant McCaslin, I'm a big fan of. I just think that that's the kind of coach that is so honest. He's so genuine that you want to run through a wall for him. And you know, he came from Scott Drew's coaching tree, and
we have the money to do it.
You do have the money. Yeah, I heard Wiz keeps telling me about this oil guy who sold his company for like $3 or $4 billion, who just goes nuts for Texas Tech sports and is just paying all these dudes.
Allegedly.
You're not complaining, huh?
No. He's a big donor and we like him for it. So I'm not going to say no. That's why we do what we do. And I'm excited for the future. But now what's fun is that we've seen March Madness. The season's over. NBA season has Spurs have 3 games left, give or take.
3 games left.
So now it's like, all right, so where are we looking at draft wise? Where are we looking at these players? And, I think our draft pick from last year, I think he's having one hell of a season. And I believe he thinks he's having himself a good season as well. So, Rob, what was that quote that he had yesterday?
I'm going to have to pull that up. He said, I've got Rookie of the Year locked up.
Yeah, and I think he does.
And honestly, like, I hate to bring up relevant news that's unfortunate, but Jalen Wells is actually, he was just stretchered off the court in a Grizzlies game right now. So that actually increases his odds for Rookie of the Year. And I hate to phrase it like that, but that was one of the guys he was really competing with.
I'm smiling because AJ is kind of smiling, and I'm trying to decide if he's upset about Jalen Williams getting hurt. Jalen Wells, I'm sorry, or if he's saddened for him, but
no one's happy for someone getting hurt.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, AJ's smirking a little bit.
I wasn't smirking. I was like that's. I don't know what it is. If he stretchered off, that's not good at all.
True.
I'm thinking of what could have happened to get him stretchered off, and that's why my face was like. Ugh.
It said it was a head injury.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
So and it was after a flagrant too. So after the podcast, I really want to go check that out.
We'll check that out for sure.
Well, I'll say this: obviously, I'm looking past these last 3 games. As far as I'm concerned, the season's over. I think we've gotten a good over the last 15, 20 games or so. We've gotten Castle a lot of minutes. Keldon's gotten a lot of run. I think he's solidified himself into our future plans as one of our first couple guys off the bench. So I think I like all those guys getting minutes together, and now it's lose games, protect our draft capital. I've got all my eyes on Atlanta right now. Can Atlanta stay in the 7 through 10 and get eliminated and not get into the play-in? That would be incredibly massive for us, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're currently the 8 seed, right? So they would be playing. They just got passed by Orlando. They're a game back of Orlando. So if it ends today, they're going to be going to Orlando in a win or die, right? Then they would end up playing the winner of Chicago or Miami. Like that's not a cakewalk for them, and
No.
it'd be really big for us if we just get one more ball in the lottery, right? Like one more team that just has a chance. It'd be a really big pick for us. Are there any guys that y'all are like targeting that y'all really want out of this upcoming draft class?
I mean, there's a couple of guys that I feel like would fit our system really well. I mean, we've been talking about Duke, and I feel like Con Knipple, like I like the way he plays. He's a good shooter off the dribble and catch and shoot situations. Really smart guy, knows how to keep the ball moving. And I think that those are the kind of guys I want around Wemby. If he's going to get collapsed on, give me a guy that I know is a sure shooter, and that if he's not going to take that shot, is he going to do something smart with the ball? Yeah, give me that kind of guy. And I think that he checks off a lot of those boxes, and he's projected about where we could be in the draft.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at a mock earlier today, and they had him projected to us at 8, and clearly shooting's a big need. What were you going to say, AJ?
Cooper Flag.
That's
what I want. I want Cooper Flag, and we can still say that until we know where we're at. So Cooper Flag is my pick.
We only want Duke players, apparently.
Well, like, what do y'all identify as like our biggest needs? I think we need another stretch 4 with maybe a little bit more length than Sohan. We need shooting, and we need a backup 5. So you could throw out another Duke player who's projected to go relatively high. That's Common Malawak, who got absolutely dog walked in the championship game. Is he off y'all's draft boards for us?
I don't know. I was reading some stories about he might be deported.
Oh, Jesus.
He
might be. He really might be. They may not renew his visa or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
so
I mean, that's
a
pure craziness.
Possibility.
What do y'all think about Derek Queen? Do you look at him like, I think he's a super talented player, and he's going to be going around where we're picking. I don't know if he's got the length, the size, and the defensive like prowess that we would want. He seems like he's primarily like a scoring 4. So I don't know how he would play alongside Wemby. But.
Right. Like I don't know. I see a lot of like Julius Randle in his game where he like puts his head down, he scores, he uses his size, but he's got a lot of finesse and he can do a lot of different things offensively, but he had to have the ball in his hands a lot to make a difference for those Maryland victories.
He's like a little bit better like Wendell Carter Jr. to me.
Yeah.
Like just like really like I just don't think he's got the length or the athleticism as like a player at the next level to really have that, have that type of career. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to depend on who comes back to, and who, is Chris Paul going to retire, or is he going to move to the bench, or what's going to happen there? I'm sure he's probably not going to be back with the Spurs.
I don't see us bringing back Chris Paul.
Yeah. Are we going to make any trades? Are we going to, fuck around and try to get KD or what? I mean, I think there's a lot of question marks to be had. So,
Rob, you said you don't want early. KD, right?
No, I don't want KD. I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to reshift our priorities.
I just want to push back on y'all there because, like, y'all do want him depending on the price, right? Like, if it's a first-round pick in Devin Vassell, like Atlanta's first-round pick for this upcoming year in Devin, and like a contract filler, you're not wanting it for that?
I mean, I look at it from this perspective. It's like he's a $50 million guy. Like, I think that if I'm looking at it, like, I would rather go get a $30 million guy and a $20 million guy that fit what we're doing long term more so than go after a guy that's like, all right, we need to win in the next 2 years with Kevin Durant. Because what's Kevin Durant when he's 41 years old in like 3 or 4 years? It's like, because he's about to be 37 years old, correct?
He's old. Yeah, he's old.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, so you're really just saying, hey, my team's ready to win right the fuck now. And I still feel like we're 3-4 years away from that. And to be brutally honest, yeah, Kevin Durant's not going to be around for 3 or 4 years.
So 2 things for me. Like, I think as long as we have Wemby, our winning window is always open. So there's like so many different windows. And I think as long as we don't mortgage our future for him, like I'm not trying to trade like 3 or 4 firsts. Like that's a definite no. But if it's like 1 or 2 firsts and one player and we're not jeopardizing those future windows to win, I do think we're a KD away from being like, wait, what the fuck do we have here? Like De'Aaron Fox, KD, Wemby, plus potentially 2 firsts this year. It's like Stephon Castle. Why can't our winning window be now? If fucking Phoenix wasn't flopping so horribly, I feel like we wouldn't be thinking this way. But they are, and KD hasn't had stability since Golden State. But like, if it's 2 firsts, I'm fucking willing to gamble on it, big time. Y'all aren't. This is crazy to me.
I don't want to pay that contract. Because then we're just not a big market to pay those kind of contracts, and we're gonna have to pay Wemby probably what $100 million in the next couple years.
I think we're 2 years away from having to pay him, but like that's the thing. Like KD, he talked about on his final contract doing like a veteran minimum to win.
If he comes out of veteran minimum, yeah, let's.
Well, he's got money. He's got money left on his contract, but like if we're not tied to his contracts for like 2 years, I just think like I know for a fact y'all would be fucking excited as shit if we got KD and it was like 2 firsts. We'd be talking ourselves into it.
Of course,
really fast, right?
It would be awesome to see, but you got to think of the reality and what Rob was saying, the long term of it. And the reality is the Spurs don't play those kind of players.
Well, Castle's not in the deal, right? Obviously. Yeah, like I don't even think we would trade Castle straight up.
We're going to have to pay Castle too.
But we don't have to pay Castle for 3 years. Like he's got, I think, 2 more years and then a team option. And I think Wemby's got at least 1 more year and a team option. So like their contract extension isn't going to kick in for 3 or 4 years, which is why like, if we're not having to give up too much, a 2-year window just to experiment with KD, like, could be worth it. I don't know.
I mean, I just don't think now's the time to experiment. Like, we don't even know who our coach is. Like even if we were to get KD over here, do we have the people at the helm that are going to get us to that championship tier? I mean, or is KD going to get here and get frustrated like he has been with his last couple of coaches? So like, I kind of think that it's a situation where would I be excited if we got Kevin Durant? Absolutely. Who's not excited when you get a top 15 player all time? But, do I think that it would lead to the kind of success I want for the Spurs? No, it's going to lead to probably a second round exit.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, winning a playoff series sounds good right about now. But like you said, like don't dangle that second round exit in front of me and get me a little excited because I did. But no, I see what you mean. And like KD flopped in Brooklyn. That was a fucking nightmare. He's come to Phoenix and they've been absolute dog shit. I hope Pop comes back. I hope we still have Pop. And even if we don't have Pop, I think we have a culture of winning, even if it hasn't been lately. We have an organization that KD's had to respect ever since he's been in the league. I'd hope that there'd be some type of greater appreciation for what he's in, but I digress. We'll see. But I do think it was reported by so many people that we should be taking that really seriously. And we should even take it more seriously that we made a move to go get De'Aaron Fox because clearly we're willing to win now. And that was something that we talked about a year or two ago. It's like, yeah, we're cool with it being a slow build, but like, it'd be exciting if we were aggressive and went and got guys. And we did it last year. And we still have so many assets that it wouldn't shock me to see us do it. And I know one thing, I'd own a jersey like immediately and I might be burning it by the end of that same year.
That's fair. That's a good point.
That's very true. Yeah, Kevin Durant, he's your best friend, but then he'll be your worst enemy when you're playing against him. And yeah, I just don't know how much I would trust that situation. But you can't not trust his talent.
He is like, granted, he's a perfect fit everywhere with who he is as a player, but like he is really a perfect fit in San Antonio. Like think about every time Jeremy Sohan's caught the ball at the 3-point line. And the defense doesn't even have to fucking respect it. Like, Imagine that's KD catching that ball. It's going to change everything, but we don't have to spend this entire podcast talking about KD. I watched y'all's video about him and felt really left out that I wasn't here to talk about it and push back a little bit. So I had to bring it up some.
Of course. But
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of hypotheticals and potential people that we could bring in to San Antonio. So it's it's nice to make all of those arguments. But yeah, so as a Spurs collective, we only got 4 games left. It's Clippers, Warriors, Suns, Raptors, I believe.
Yeah, we play the Clippers tonight. We're 13-point dogs.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got the Warriors tomorrow, and then Suns, and then the Raptors, I think, on Sunday. That's our last game. So do we even get another win for the rest of this season?
I hope not.
I hope not too, but I think we might beat the Raptors.
Yeah, I think that's probably a team that, I mean, it may sound crazy, but they may be actually tanking harder than we are.
They're tanking with failure, though. They're way over their under. You want to know the way I know this? So they've already exceeded their over under. And the way that I know that, do you remember when we went to the park and you got into a disagreement with that one gentleman? Well, him and I had made a bet because he has he knows the guy in the Raptors, and we made a bet on their over under, and he gave me a 30 win total, and they currently have 29 wins. And I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast about how that coach has done such a poor job executing the organization's plan of tanking with how hard they play. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like we'd probably be underdogs fucking playing Toronto. I hope we go 0-4. I think we've already shown that improvement. We
know how to lose very well.
but we built off last year, so none of these games matter anymore. It's like when Wemby went. What was our record when Wemby went out? Do y'all remember?
No, not off the top of my head.
But it was like a few games under 500. It wasn't anything crazy. Like, we took that step forward. We improved upon our last season. We acquired an all-star caliber player in De'Aaron Fox. I think we've accomplished what we needed to this year, and we still are going to have good assets in this upcoming draft. So our clock starts next year, and we have De'Aaron Fox. We have Wemby in his 3rd year, assuming he's healthy. We have Castle building. We have all of our young guys building. This is a really pivotal offseason because we could conceivably go for it right next year. I
think depending on
possible.
who we get in the draft, I think it could be very interesting. Adam, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Earlier on in the season, we were kind of bringing up like a list of Spurs assets, and we were kind of ranking them like in order of where we thought they were ranked. And you had Sohan at 3 and then Castle at 4. Do you think Castle has done enough to elevate himself as an asset over a guy like Sohan?
Oh, easily. Who did I have at number 2?
We were talking about future picks.
Okay, so like our future pick was considered a higher asset than Devin or than
yeah.
No. Yeah. Castle's by far and away more valuable than any pick that we have. He's clear and away our number 2 asset as a player. And I don't think it's close. I think the market values on him is incredibly high. I think that he would be out of trade talks with maybe all but like 20 to 25 players in the league he'd be off the tables for in like a 1v1 type situation. For me, it starts like after that. Like, it's obviously Wemby, it's obviously Castle, but for me, it starts like after that. I think the way Devin played to finish the year, he's right back at number 3. I think you could still have Sohan as our 4th asset. Maybe I would say he's our 5th asset after our own 1st round pick this year. I think that pick's certainly worth more than Sohan. What do y'all think?
I think so too. In a really strong, deep draft, I think that pick would have more value than Sohan, just based on the fact that I like what I'm seeing from Sohan, but I don't really love it. His efficiency hasn't gotten enough better for me to just be like, wow, I love what he does on offense, even though he is swarming most nights on defense. So I love that, but you gotta show me some efficiency.
What's unfortunate is like he started off the year so well before he got that injury. He was finishing really well around the basket, but I still view him as somebody who can't stretch the floor, and he's not as long or as athletic as he really like needs to be. He needs to be about an inch taller with a little bit longer arms and a little bit more athleticism, because whenever he meets bigs at the rim, he can't finish over them. And I don't think he's got the shooting or the athleticism, but I think he's gotten really smart as a player. I love his grit. And like, I want him a part of our future, but I don't know how much he's going to require contractually. Like, what do we have to pay him?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think it's times like this I wish we still had Chip England so
Yeah,
he could work
for
on
sure.
he could work on a shot like Jeremy Sohan's, and I think in a couple of seasons that would be much improved.
okay, over under 4 years, $110 million. That's 27 and a half million a year.
I'm gonna say over based on potential. I think that I think that he would be able to get that contract somewhere based on his age and what he's been able to produce so far, but whether or not he would live up to that contract is a different story.
Yeah. I think he'll get 35 a year.
Really? What did Jalen Johnson just get? Didn't he get around that? Like, he's not on that level or even close to that right now.
No, but
No.
that's just how the market is. Someone's going to give it to
With
him.
how much the salary cap's gone up, yeah, I don't completely disagree.
That's why Devin Vassell, I think, is a much better asset because of his contract
Yeah,
and his ability.
the way that he came back, like you could just tell as the season went along, he got his legs under him and was just operating differently. His athleticism came back, his confidence. So I really loved what I was able to see out of him to finish, as he's gone on throughout this year, because it was worrying me a little bit, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, you wanted to see him step in and have those 20, 25 pieces, and obviously without Fox, without Wemby, those are going to be, pretty abundant, and we were seeing a lot of that, but obviously the main silver lining is Castle. Over the last 10 games, he's like about 18, 7 and 7. The efficiency isn't there, but the counting stats are huge for a rookie, and he's playing good minutes, but not huge minutes. It's just barely under 30 minutes a game, which is good for a rookie. But, whenever he gets more seasoned and more polished, he's going to be playing even more minutes than that because we need him to.
Oh, my goodness. Cannot wait until next season when everyone's healthy.
I mean, he's a 40-point 3-point shot away from being a perennial all-star in this league. Because how much that would open up his game for him, and if people have to run him off the line every time he's open, because he's a way better playmaker than I thought he would be. He doesn't try and make tough passes, but he makes the right pass look really easy repeatedly. And that's without being a threat from the outside, which just, if you can shoot it, opens up what you can do just so much. So who's a bigger asset to us in the rest of the league? Who could we get more for? De'Aaron Fox or Castle?
I mean, I think it's probably Stephon Castle, but not by much. I think the main reason we got De'Aaron Fox for what we got was leverage. He didn't want to be in Sacramento anymore, and he needed surgery. There was a couple of different things happening there, and it was kind of like, all right, Sacramento's willing to dish him off. So it was, it kind of made sense from that perspective. But, Castle is a young, budding superstar about to turn into something that we don't even know. You're going to be paying a premium for that kind of talent.
What do you think Wemby's expectations are for our jump next year and what he wants to see out of his team?
Well, I think, at the beginning of this season, he was saying it's about results now. And I think a lot of that got put on the shelf with, Coach Pop's health issues. That happened really early on. Obviously, with De'Aaron Fox, us figuring out he needed surgery, Wemby being out, all of this is reshifting our focus. So I think that next season is going to be about results. As much as we wanted it to be this season, those results are going to be delayed, and I think the results are going to be even stronger because of things like the draft, and I really think that we are going to make a move, whether it's KD, whether it's somebody else. I don't think that we are done. I don't think we're done trading for a potential all-star talent.
What are we happy with, AJ? Like
playoffs.
Like
I just want to make the playoffs, play in playoffs or whatever, however we need to get there. I want these guys to feel what it's like to be in a playoff game. And I mean, Wemby right now, my expectation for him is defensive player of the year. And I expect him to play hopefully all the games next season. And, that's a huge ask for someone like him, but I think he can do it, or at least only miss 5 games this time. So for me, I want to see a healthy Wemby. I want to see a team that wants to win and kind of gets passion. I also want to see our fans show up to the stadium. That's what I want to see the most of, because it's really hard sometimes to turn on the TV and that entire bottom bowl is just empty. And you're like, man, that sucks. So,
I mean, I get it now, but like early season, you still had that versus shitty opponents, just like not. And like, that's with all the buzz in our second season with Wemby, and they're still not showing up. And it's disappointing. So like this year, like what was our expectation? Like, oh, I'd really like to be close to 500. We need to make a big jump. It'd be cool if we got in the play-in, right? That's how we felt coming into this year. Well, we didn't reach that goal. And it sucks because it was so attainable if we stayed healthy, to all the things Rob said. If Pop didn't go down, if we didn't lose Sohan early, if Vassell wasn't out for the first couple of weeks, you could name a number of things, right? But the fact of the matter is, like, Dallas is 38-41, and they're going to be getting to play some type of extra basketball. That was on the table for us if things went a little bit better, right? So to me, that means next year, like, the play-in's not good enough. That's like what we had for this year. Like, we just traded for De'Aaron Fox. Like, we have 2 first-round picks. We have salary cap space. I think it's like we need to be competing for that 6 seed next year, like, or we need to be a 7 or an 8 seed. We need to have 2 opportunities in the play-in next year to get bounced. Like, we need to make that jump. We have the talent. We've got everything we need. What we really need is De'Aaron Fox healthy game 1 next year. We need Wemby healthy game 1, and we need to know what the future of our coaching is, because we've got all of our assets. We have the flexibility to do anything we want, and we need to go for it, because I think our window really starts now, maybe the year after.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. The goal should be trying to get to a meaningful playoff game. And I'm not expecting to go out there and beat a team that's higher ranked than us, because if we sneak into the playoffs, we're going to see a team like OKC if we get in there at 8. And so, like, I'm not expecting to come out on top in that situation, but yeah, to get the guys playing some meaningful postseason games, yeah, that would be a refreshing change of pace, and to kind of reshift our focus. Just because, yeah, we've been so used to these 20, 30 win seasons over the last few years that I don't want this to feel like the norm anymore.
Right.
And I don't think we have a 20 to 30 win roster anymore, right? Like, Sacramento was a perennial low-end playoff team, play-in team for the last several years, with De'Aaron Fox as one of their 2 guys. Like, we have as much, if not more, talent than Sacramento does, and I think we've got a big offseason ahead of us. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't be a playoff team next year. I'd be beyond thrilled with a first-round exit next year where we lose in 6 games to Lakers, Houston, or Oklahoma City, or whoever it may be. That's, like, all I'd ask for. And then the year after that, like, championship or break up the entire thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Very reasonable.
But like, we can look at Oklahoma City 3 years ago. Like, they're 3-4 years ago, they're where we are now. They made a big move for Shea. They hit with 2 players in the draft. Like, let's hit with one more guy in the draft and then see what the fuck we can do. Because I think we are 2 players away from beating just about anybody.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But yeah, Yeah, that's some good Spurs chat, guys. We kind of dove into where we see ourselves ending up next season, some good summer chat, who we could potentially get in the draft, but also some of the expectations moving forward. Yeah, if you're still here listening to the Baseline Bums podcast, we really appreciate you. We love you. We would not be experiencing things the way we are without your engagement, without all the comments, the likes, the shares, without all the love. This podcast would not be the same. So just want to say thank you to all the bums out there that make this podcast truly special. But yeah, we got some dunks to get to, guys. We gotta dunk on some people. So
Adam, start us off. You haven't been here in a
man.
while. Who are you dunking on this week?
You know what? I've already talked about him, but I'm going to go ahead and dunk on Rob Wright. Unfortunately, our freshman honorable mention point guard, what we were about to build our organization around, doesn't announce anything for like the first 2 weeks of the transfer portal window, and then fucking sidelines up, just hits us in the fucking back of the head out of nowhere and hits us with the portal. And so I'm going to dunk on Rob Wright. I don't even think he can dunk, so I'm dunking on him. And may he go somewhere and I was going to say tears ACL. I don't know if that, but he's a nice kid, but like,
wow.
How about like just like a MCL?
Jesus.
Like a meniscus, maybe. How about like a partially torn meniscus?
How about he gets sick and just, misses a couple games?
yeah, he gets the poops.
Like cancer or
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm just kidding. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah,
All right.
I'm still upset about it. I dunked on him. That's for sure. Like I tomahawked that motherfucker.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's hear y'all's.
Well, I'm dunking on Dave Portnoy for
Ooh.
being in San Antonio and just, ripping Popovich a new one. That was an aggressive little rant he went on in San Antonio. And dude, like, you do what he does. He had a platform. You have a platform. You get on your social medias and you talk to the camera about what's going on in the stock market. Greg Popovich did the same shit. The only difference was it was in front of a camera after a game or before a game. So it's the same shit you're doing. Get over it. Dave, I like your pizza stuff, so I need to go watch the ones in San Antonio. But
He did one on Royal Pizza, and Royal Pizza's fucking ass. He picked like the not good location to do it.
And then he also did Matanga's. I haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't seen that one. I've never even heard of Matanga's.
You should go to Florio's. Florio's was the best pizza in San Antonio. Anyway,
All right.
Rob, who you dunking on?
Man, that's honestly a good dunk. But I was thinking about maybe dunking on the refs, but at the same time, I think I'm gonna dunk on Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
What did Ted do? I missed this.
Dude,
He was a curse.
Dude, he honestly, it was the Ted Cruz curse is still alive and well. If Ted Cruz goes to a basketball game, the thing you want to happen won't happen. Or like a team will crumble, or like the team he's going for will shit the bed. It happened in Game 7 in 2018 whenever he was at the Rockets Golden State game, and the Rockets crumbled. And he was at the motherfucking Texas Tech Virginia game in 2019. That son of a bitch, and he was there last night.
Astros, University of Houston twice. I mean, yeah, dude, the Ted Curse curse is absolutely real, and it is live and well. Every time he supports a team, I think he went to the UT game too, when they went to the semifinals and they lost that shit too. So it's like, yeah, man, you're a bad luck charm, and it's unfortunate, but you can't deny the record.
Yeah, I'm a conservative, but Texas has been losing with him in government for the last 2 decades, it seems like. So yeah, he's been losing everywhere he goes.
Yeah, he pretty much dunks on himself, but I decided to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, and as someone who the only bum that can actually still dunk, you actually did just dunk on him.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are some excellent dunks, guys. Yeah, and if you're still with us, we appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for listening. And we are going to end this episode the same way we end all the episodes, and that's with a A go. A Spurs.